Social welfare, culture and arts, education, health, environment. A wide array of encompassing issues where NGOs usher advocacy work. Driven by ideals, goals, and the commitment to help communities in need, the Philippine NGOs for years have touched the lives of many towards making meaningful change.
For the most part, NGOs come from citizen organizations made up of citizens who want to make their voice heard or who want to help those of their countrymen who need help. And that's how NGOs started in the Philippines as well. In the Philippines, however, NGOs have transformed and evolved to become social development organizations. NGOs in the Philippines have also evolved to become advocacy organizations. There's an organization that looks at every couple of years, I think, what institutions people trust. And over the last 2 rounds of the EON stakeholder reviews, the NGOs have ranked lowest in terms of people trusting them. Maybe it's also people becoming less aware of them or people feeling like they're a little too political. I'm not sure what it is, and the survey doesn't tell. But the fact that it's the least trusted of the institutions, I think is a cause for concern. I think there's room for NGOs to continue and to thrive. I think there's a real need for us as a country to continue to nurture the spirit of citizen participation and citizen action.
With the rising number and expanding role of NGOs in the Philippines, the need for professionalism, transparency, and accountability of the sector confront 6 of the biggest NGO networks to establish the Philippine Council for NGO Certification, or PCNC, in 1998.
When Fidel Ramos became president, he wanted to remove all the tax benefits for NGOs. 6 of the biggest groups of foundations. We joined a meeting in Malacanang Palace. It took us more than 2 years to really put all the rules and regulations and to make sure that the NGOs understand, to make sure that those who will be getting tax benefits, tunay na NGOs and not mga fly-by-night. After all the meetings, it was finally signed by Ed Espiritu, who was already the Secretary of Finance. It's the first in the whole world that the government gives a private sector group the ability to give NGO certification. The NGOs naman accepted the fact that we could look at what they're doing and make sure that they could get the certifications.
When PCNC started in 1998, there was a call for volunteers coming from the networks that formed PCNC. I readily volunteered, so I became part of the first batch of volunteers to do this work. When I decided to become a volunteer at the start, it is purely because it is doing something new. There were so many non-profit organizations in the Philippines. There's a need to police ourselves. If you ask me now, what keeps me as a volunteer, it has become more than just policing the sector. It is also looking at how can we improve our practice, how can we set the standards, benchmarking in a way for the nonprofit or civil society movement.
Beyond certifying Philippine NGOs aspiring for a DONI institution status, PCNC took the front to ensure NGOs' legitimacy, efficiency, and effectiveness by keeping its pioneer evaluation system and organizational standard relevant and appropriate to the needs of the NGO community.
The PCNC board is an active participant in the NGO evaluation process. The evaluation results of each NGO is reviewed. and the approval of certification is done by the board as a collegial body. The number of certified NGOs has been increasing through the years. And this is a living testament that PCNC has remained true to its role of being a self-regulatory body to the NGO sector.
Over the years also, policies have been developed and continue to be evolved so that we answer the requirements of the times to ensure that the legitimacy and capability and sustainability of NGOs is ensured. We have from different sectors and different types of foundations, so we have different views that makes it more richer and I think a deeper appreciation or understanding of the organizations.
"20 years ago, it used to be just the BIR, evaluating and confirming whether a non-stock non-profit entity is indeed such and confer to them a certificate of tax exemption. When PCNC was created, it became a two-step task. Actually, it was not a smooth sailing journey, so to speak. We had to go through a lot of hurdles to streamline the processes. In fact, in the past, there are a lot of entities who would say, bakit ganon mas stricto pa si PCNC kaysa kay BIR? Things like that we welcome because at least there's another eye looking into and ensuring that really it's not just saying that you are a non-stock non-profit entity. You have to live up, be, and continue to be a non-stock non-profit entity so that the beneficiary will enjoy the benefits or the extension of the work they are doing.
At the core of PCNC's works are the highly diverse groups of non-government organizations whose accreditation from PCNC enable them to improve as an organization and be more effective in campaigning and implementing their cause.
We received our first certification in 2016. It took us 3 years to get it. One of the very best things that happened was we reorganized ourselves. We became stronger after that. We could face one another with clean conscience, that the school was in good hands, that it was administered, with accountability and transparency. I've never really asked for donation before. But with the PCNC certification and a BIR accreditation, you can face anyone.
We applied for certification in 2003 and we have renewed that ever since until now. Once you have your PCNC certification, that means that you are also recognized by the national agencies. They also provide training for board members. They provide training on financial management, on resource mobilization, on program management. They invite us to workshops to improve our capabilities and our operations. In that way, they are helping us.
Because of the compliance with PCNC requirements, you actually professionalize the way your foundation or your organization will be functioning. We realized the importance of having a manual that everyone should be complying with. Later on, we hope that it will also be easier for those who will be coming after us to manage the foundation because the ground rules have already been there.
A lot of our systems were really not in place. So it was really PCNC's rigorous regimen that could help the foundation. Going through the documentation, we saw a lot of processes where we were able to improve our governance. It was not an easy thing to do, and it took us a lot of time, and we're still following those processes up to now, and it's been working well for us. Definitely, PCNC has been a big part in helping us to become a little bit more sustainable than we were many years ago.
In my mind, I thought to myself, we're starting a very small foundation. We have to go to an organization like PCNC. I am amazed at the work they do, and I really appreciate the recommendations because I understand that when they make recommendations, it's really just coming out from, this sounds cheesy, but really from the goodness of their heart. The opportunity to attend the annual meetings gives us, I think, certain amount of pleasure in knowing that there are other people outside who share our advocacy. We only have 2 full-time staff and then myself, and then we rely on volunteers. So this ability to interact and learn from other people with similar advocacies is very precious. I think just the fact that they go through the process of evaluating organizations like us, for me, it's a sign that they are interested in not only in what we do, but in our capacity to grow further.
Among the champion partners of PCNC are the volunteer peer evaluators, who devote their expertise and years of experience to assist fellow NGOs in realizing their advocacies much effectively. Many of its esteemed volunteer evaluators come from the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, or PICPA.
Whenever I am with my peer evaluators, we joke around. I was telling them, my dream is to evaluate every PCNC accredited or those who will seek accreditation for PCNC. They were telling me, there's around 400. Now I have 155 evaluations, so I'm far away from that number, and it's growing. So they were joking around, can you really do that? I told them maybe I could. Actually, what keeps me going with PCNC is that even though the organization might be small, but when you see how they work, how they impacted the community that they serve, how the beneficiaries would say so many good things about them, it really inspires you. And it gives the opportunity to go beyond my work, to experience this kind of social services to the community. And it's really very inspiring. And I'm really very glad that I got involved with PCNC.
Committed not only to empower the underprivileged, but also to be a pillar of responsible stewardship. These are the Philippine NGOs. And together with the Philippine Council of NGO Certification, will continually strive to fulfill this vision.